Welcome to the Pantheon Parenthetical. My name is Lance Ash, and today, as promised, I will tell you the story of my second trip to Key West. It was the summer of 1991. I remember because the world premiere of the video for Van Halen's song Pound Cake occurred at this time. Anyway, I was working at UGA, dating the same girl as the first trip. The pay at UGA was slightly better than Kmart, but the benefits were much better since they were actually benefits, including paid vacation. So my girlfriend and I decided we were going to go back to Key West, and this time to do it right, do it on a grand scale. This is in the days before the internet, so I wrote a letter to the Key West Chamber of Commerce or Board of Tourism or whatever, and I received a great big envelope in the mail full of information. I sifted through all of it looking for the best deal and hit upon a hotel that offered an 8 or 9 day package for pretty cheap. The name of the hotel was La Terrazza de Martí, which the brochure said we have playfully shortened to La Tida. The implications of this went right over my head. The hotel was an old house that a Cuban immigrant had bought and turned into a hotel by adding extensions to the back so that it formed a little compound centered around a courtyard with a pool in the middle. The pool had palm trees around it with fairy lights strung through them, so that when you got in the pool at night and lay there floating on your back looking up at the stars and the night sky, the lights in the palm trees, the cool water contrasted with the oppressive heat, it was really quite magical and wonderful. The hotel was small, only had about maybe 20 rooms. Anyway, the drive down was about 16 hours, and the plan was that we were going to swap off every 4, but of course I wound up driving almost all of it. In the middle of the night, about an hour from Key West, all of a sudden all the pieces came together in my head, and I said to my girlfriend, "It's a gay hotel." "What?" I just figured it out. It's a gay hotel. It better not be. And we got there, and of course it was. You walked in the front door. The lobby was right there in the front room. There was a staircase leading up to the bar. But on the left side at the top of the stairs was one room all by itself, and that was the room they put us in the first night. The room was horrible because it was right next to the bar and it was loud. But the way that we got out of that room was by complaining about the bathroom. The bathroom was a closet that they had converted by putting a toilet and a sink in there and a shower head up by the lighting fixture. There was a drain in the floor, and when you turned the shower on, everything got wet. The wooden door, the walls, the toilet, the sink. But there was no or very little water pressure. So I complained about this, and they moved us to a better room at the back of the hotel, the very back of the hotel. It was up on a balcony, 2 rooms up there, and we had the one at the back, which overlooked somebody's backyard. You could hear the people talking in their backyard. We had a little bit of cash, so we did go out to eat a couple of times, but in the main, we were kind of short for funds, so we wound up buying a hot plate at a Sears down there. The smallest Sears I've ever seen in my life, by the way. And cooking in the room. We went to some seaside fish market and bought some rock shrimp and some other stuff. We had a great time. We We rented bikes, rode around the island. We got into the Hemingway house for free because there was an old lady outside selling tickets. She was sitting in a folding chair smoking a cigarette. And while we were talking to her, discussing whether we should spend the money, she dropped her cigarette into her shoe. And she didn't know where it had fallen. I bent down and picked the cigarette out of her shoe before she could step on it and burn her foot. So she let us in for free. She told us to tell the lady at the door, I think her name was Dottie, because she said something like, "Tell her you're friends of Dottie's from New York." And on the way home, we were so exhausted that we had to stop at Jupiter Island to get my mother to pay for a hotel room by phone. And went on the beach and saw the giant turtles come up onto the beach to lay their eggs in the middle of the night. And I'll end this story by saying this: the night we cooked in the room, we had nothing to cook with, no grease. So I went down to the hotel kitchen to ask for a stick of butter. And when the chef handed it to me, he said, "Don't do anything with this that I wouldn't do." So that brings us to the conclusion of this episode. Thank you very much for listening.